Here we are.
Ready, we start.
Welcome everyone to this informational webinar regarding the MBA in International Business. This is part of the series of webinars that we are organizing for you. We already talked in the first webinar about the city of Trieste, which is the city that hosts our business school. We talked also with the program's academic director in another webinar. We also hosted the webinar with the MBA faculty lecturers. We had Professor Tim Baxter with us on that occasion. And now we are here in this webinar with a current student in the classroom. So I'm gonna make him some questions so he can share important insights on his experience during these months with the MBA in International Business. So again, welcome to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, depending in which part of the world you are joining the webinar. And please remember also that by the end of the session, you are able to text us in the chat or in the Q&A panel your questions mainly to Alberto, and we'll be glad to read them live and answer them also live. So having said this, I will begin. First, I will ask you, Alberto, to introduce yourself to our attendees.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure for me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. I am Alberto Severini, and I'm currently studying here at MIB as an MBA student. Feel free, in case you have any additional question after this session, to reach me in my LinkedIn profile. I will be more than happy to help you with any doubt or issue you could have with this choice.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's start with the first question.
Let's go. An easy one.
Yes. We would like to know why have you decided or why have you choose this MBA program at MIB Trieste School of Management, maybe over other programs?
Yeah, actually, I was, let's say, I had some, I wouldn't say doubts, but, I had more than one choice when it came to deciding which MBA attend. And I decided in the end to attend MIB for a list of reasons. The first one is the fact that MIB is well renowned to be an international student, an international ambient. And so a lot of international experiences are welcome here. And it's possible to find a lot of internationality, which is something that I really care about. And so this was the first choice. The second one is for sure the fact that, Trieste is a beautiful city and the MBA is also recognized by AMBA. So I had the opportunity to live in Trieste, which is beautiful by the sea and one of the best cities to live in Italy. And also to have the opportunity to attend an MBA that is also recognized as an MBA, which is the certification, the most important certification for MBA. These are the most important reasons why I decided to come here in Trieste.
Great. So a combination of recognition of the program, but at the same time being able to study in a beautiful city as Trieste.
Yeah,
great.
And the international environment. That for me was key.
Awesome. Great. So you chose this, you joined MIB Trieste School of Management. How do you believe your professional or even personal outlook has changed since you started the MBA in International Business at MIB?
Okay, let's start from the easy one, let's say the professional one. I arrived here with let's say, certain plans for me, for my future, for my career. And I would say that more or less they have been confirmed. So I would say by 5-10 years, I want to be a manager, I want to work for an international company. It's something that I already had in mind, and it's something that I still have. Actually, I would say that right now, I'm even more intentional in working in an international environment and international company, because I know that it's something that I really enjoy, that I really care, and so it's something that I want to do. And so this for sure is this is my outcome when it comes to the professional life. When it comes to the personal, it's more difficult for sure, but when it comes to job, it's always quite easy. When it comes to personal life, it's difficult. I would say that when it comes to personal life, as I was telling you before, I learned that I really like the international environment. For me, it's something that I really like to work in. I want to discover how other people, so other cultures are thinking. It's quite easy to behave and to act in the way that your culture is representing to you. So I know that, for example, if I'm, let's say, dealing with another Italian, I know the culture, I know more or less the background, I know more or less how she thinks. When it comes to, let me take just one country, when I'm dealing with a girl coming from Philippines, it's completely different. Because they have different values, they have different beliefs, which they are not good or bad, they are different. And so at the beginning, you have to learn how to deal with these differences. And then once you learn how these differences are, once you learn what these differences are, you can thrive with this if you are able to manage them, or otherwise they can become a challenge. And I would say that coming to the personal life, this is something that this school really taught me. How to deal with differences coming from other cultures, from other countries. It's really something huge. And moreover, when it comes to another thing that is very important is time management. That is something that for me right now is much better compared to the beginning.
Great. Yeah, you mentioned about the international environment, and once I heard from another participant of the MBA, she was saying that entering the MBA classroom was like entering into like a trip around the world, because really we can find many different citizens from different parts of the world. But you mentioned challenges. So I would like to go deeper with this, because of course joining an international classroom as our MBA in International Business may be, of course, a great step in someone's career, but of course there will be challenges. So which are the biggest challenges you faced during the program, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Let's be honest. As an MBA student, you are required to send a lot of assignment. You have to close a lot of tasks. You have to do a lot of exams. Time is the greatest challenge. Time management is key in this. And it's something that I'm not joking, if I think of how I managed time at the very beginning, so in September, October, and how I'm managing time now, it's a completely way of thinking, of doing things, and a completely way of focusing. Because, the school knows this point, they knows us, and they know that if they are asking us to do what we are doing in a particular, let's say, hot moment from the very beginning, it's very difficult, because you are still not skilled in order what to do in order to complete everything. And so the school also recognizes this, they know us, they know that we are entering into a new world, and so they're helping us a lot. In the first semester, things are still manageable, even if challenging. When it comes to second semester, if you are not able to do time management in a proper way, it's a mess, completely a mess, which is in any case. But if you're managing time effectively, then you can do anything. This is the greatest outcome and also the greatest challenge I had to face here.
Well, it's also good to know that even the biggest challenge gives you also a big outcome. So this is positive. And of course, we always say this MBA program is a full-time MBA program. Even there's a part-time option too. But I think that also providing a full-time MBA program may be helpful also in what you're saying. Time, learning to manage your time, which is very important. Also, yes,
it's mandatory.
It's key. Great. Now I would like to ask you if you could share with us or describe a moment, a project, something specific from the MBA that has a significant impact on you.
Yeah, I would say every time that I pass the exam, for sure it's significant. But I would say that the greatest was when I was chosen to go to America. I had the opportunity, me with the two guys, to go to America for 3 months. And
as exchange program.
As exchange students. So we've been there for a full semester. Actually, in America, a semester is, when it comes to school, is 3 months. So I've been there from mid-January to mid-April.
In the Crummer Business School in Florida?
Which is, located in Florida, in Orlando, which from January to April has the most beautiful weather in the world, because it's summer, but it's January, so it's great. And you also have to deal with a lot of differences, because, America is another world. But I would say that for me, for sure, during this program, the moment in which I was chosen in order to go to America was the most impactful one and the most meaningful one, for sure.
Of course. Great. Maybe now we could talk, because I would like to understand like the differences and the comparison between, for example, we've been talking a lot now about the environment, international environment here at the school. So, of course, tell us more about how is the classroom here at MIB Trieste School of Management, and maybe if you could tell us how your relationship was with your peers, your colleagues, but also with the faculty. And if you could share this about MIB, but also maybe comparing it with how was the classroom environment in Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say let's start with America, and then I can close with MIB. You know, when it comes to America, you have a completely different system. So the student is deciding, choosing the courses that he or she wants to attend, and so the class is changing every time. Because maybe I'm thinking, for example, about my experience. I had 5 different courses to attend there. I had international marketing, among the others, international marketing and sustainability. These 2 courses have nothing in common between them because, of course, they are 2 different professors, 2 different classrooms, and 2 different people and 2 different kind of people that were attending a classroom. So in international marketing, I had a class that was full of American people, but that was actually more keen on developing a global, let's say, mindset in order to apply to marketing. But when it comes to sustainability, I had a very American class. So with American people, which is not good or bad again, but they were American. And so things changed a lot. Well, when I'm thinking about the classroom here at MIB, everything is different. Because here you cannot choose the exam that you want to take apart from the elective ones. But you know, when you are here, you are dealing every time with the same people, which are becoming your friends. Because you know, after 8 months together, you are becoming friends. You are dealing always together in the same classroom, which is making the difference. And then you're dealing with different professors, but that's normal. So starting with peers, I said, after 8 months, 8 months, we became friends.
Of course.
You know, then of course you can say, I prefer this one, I prefer that one, but you know everybody very well, and they are your friends. Come on. When I think about the people here, I talk with them. I mean, I talk about them saying, yeah, my friends are MIB, my friends in Trieste. When it comes to staff, you know, there are staff people like Barbara and Vicky, which are always very available for us. We send them an email, they're replying with a few hours, so very available. And then there is the professor. With them, it depends a lot on the professor, as you know, but I would say that usually, and it's something that for me was very different because, you know, I attended university here in Italy. Usually professors in Italy at the university are never replying to you. It's something common, everybody knows this. Here at MIB is not like that. Everybody's replying to you within a few hours, within maximum 2 days, 2 working days. So I would say that this is something that is really making the difference. The availability of the professor is something that I didn't expect because, you know, for me, from my experience, it was very difficult to deal with professors. Now here we'll say, no, it's not. They are not students, but they are dealing with the students in a very friendly way. Then, of course, there are some exceptions, but usually they reply very fast. No.
Great. Very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing this. And it's good to know that, as what I can understand from your answer, let's say, of the classroom, I mean, for me, it's a positive thing to hear that maybe at the MIB, it's more like you create
Bond.
Yes, bonds. You're for 8 months in the classroom, of course, with different nationalities from all over the world. But as you were saying, they become friends.
And again, actually, I didn't spend here 3 months, so 5 months with them. In any case, they are friends for me. So I imagine that the others, which spend really close 8 months all together, they are even more friends than me. But you know, that's normal. You know, I was in an external environment, so it's normal. But yeah, for me, they're friends.
Great. It's nice to know. Thank you for sharing this. I would like to know if there's any specific aspect of the program that has surprised you the most so far.
Yeah, I would say, you know, the fact, I mean, right now for me to say it's simple, it's silly, but you know, the fact that, for example, not everybody is thinking in a certain structured way, for me at the beginning was really difficult. And you know, when we are at the very beginning, we are separated into 4 or 5 groups. And at the very beginning, I was in a group in which I was the only Italian. No, sorry, we were two Italians. And so at the very beginning, for me, it was very easy to work with the other Italian, but quite difficult to work with the others, but not because they're not good. They are simply working a different way. And again, at the very beginning, for me, it was difficult. Not for the language, here everybody's talking quite a good English. We can understand each other because, another good thing is the fact that despite the fact that everybody is talking in English, almost nobody is thinking in English, which is something very different. And so, again, compared to America, it is very different because in America, everybody is thinking in English and talking in English, so I was the strange one. Here I am simply the one that is talking English, thinking in Italian. But we have somebody that is talking in English, thinking in Spanish, a lot of people. We have somebody that is talking in English, thinking in, I don't know.
Japanese.
Any other language, Chinese, Japanese, any other language. And so I would say that at the very beginning, it was really surprising to see how many the cultures are affecting the way of how people think. It's impressive. And then, we also had some courses that explain this. So how a certain country, a certain culture can shape the way of thinking of people. It's impressive, really impressive. It's something that I wasn't aware of.
Wow, great.
I mean, I always knew that, for example, a Japanese and an Italian are not thinking the same way.
Yes.
But then I don't know why. And it's crazy.
I imagine it's also key understanding these cultural differences for what the program is focusing, international management, global business.
I mean, if my previous company, when I was still working before joining an MBA, if my previous company asked me, would you like to go to China? I would say, yeah, let's go. I would break everything. I would do this, and this. And then I'm sure that I would have simply cracked myself in a wall. Now I know that if I really have to go to China, I have to study, not Chinese, but to study the culture at least, how to deal with Chinese people. And then, of course, also a bit of language that is mandatory. But, it's not so important, the way of talking. The important is the way of thinking. The way how you shape your action is everything. That is what I learned here. And at the very beginning was not so clear for me.
Super. Great. Thank you for these insights. Now coming to the end of I would say, conversation with Alberto, I just will like to remind our attendees, if they want to pose some questions to him, you're able to write them on the chat. But my last question would be, or suggestion would be, if you could give an advice to persons that are thinking to apply to this MBA program or joining, maybe they already applied, they're thinking if officially joining the program, what advice would you tell them?
No, I would say the same advices that I thought for myself before coming here. I would say, for me, joining an MBA was not a simple decision. I thought about it for quite a long time because, I had a good job. I enjoyed in my previous my previous company, my previous working environment. So for me, it was a good position already. And then I decided to take the MBA. And before joining here, I asked myself, what do I want to obtain from this MBA? That is the first question that everybody has to pose to herself, himself. So what do I want to achieve? What do I want to obtain? And then I said, if the reply is the key to work in an international environment, yeah, come here. This is the best place for you. If the reply is, if the question is, what do I want to obtain? I want to learn finance because, here we're studying finance. Here we're studying geopolitical scenarios. Here we're studying international businesses. Then again, yeah, this is the decision for you. I don't know about the other schools because, I didn't attend them. Mm-hmm. But for sure, I don't regret the choice of coming here when it comes to these points. Because international environment and also, hard skills, mm-hmm. I think that I got them. So it's something that I really care about now. And it's something that I'm quite sure that I will not lose in the future because it's something that now is part of my DNA.
Nice. So suggestion to have motivation, motivation and a goal, an objective to join the program, not just come for a degree, I would say.
No. Like actually it's something that right now that the MBA is almost finished, I'm just missing one exam to be done within the end of the month. It's not something that I'm thinking about. The certificate, the degree, whatever it is. No,
you will get it.
I will get it. But now it's not my main focus point. right now I'm thinking about finishing a good way, finding a job for sure because it's key. But yeah, it's not something, I mean, right now the degree is not my focus point.
Of course.
Then, of course, it's something important, eager to this. But yeah, right now it's not my focus point.
Thank you. Thank you for this time, for your answers, for talking with us about your experience here at the MBA at the MIB Trieste School of Management. Now I'm going to read some of the questions we are receiving. So, for example, we received a question saying, which is the course that you enjoyed the most?
Actually, there are quite a few, but I am a strange guy, I like mathematics, I like numbers, I'm keen on numbers. So for me, everything that is financial was very beautiful.
And may I ask, what's your background?
I am a business engineer.
Okay.
So yeah, again, I'm a strange guy. So yeah, I would say financial mathematics, finance. For me, these were the most beautiful courses. Not the easiest ones, because they are not actually finance. I think it was one of the toughest ones. But yeah, I really like that. Also because, these courses are not simply study this, apply this. It's not that bad. And also the Professor Peresin once told us, consider that now I'm giving this to you, but this data, just in order to retrieve this kind of data, you will find days in the real world. And this is what is making the difference between an MBA and another person. The MBA is the one that can actually find the number in the correct way. The other person maybe can do that, but they don't have the same structure of view and the same method of view. And so I would say I like this kind of subjects because they also have a lot of application in the real world. For example, financial mathematics explain to us how to calculate the mortgages, what part is interest, what part is the actual mortgage, how you can deal with the mortgages in order to pay less interest, in a legal way, of course. So yeah, this is why I like these subjects a lot.
Great. Another question we received, it says, are there many exams and are they difficult?
There are many exams. Yeah, there are many exams. If I remember correctly, I'm not so sure about them, but we're talking about more or less 20 exams to be done in 1 year. Difficult. It depends. It depends a lot. There are some exams that are difficult, such as, for example, I was telling you before, finance. But if you study, if you apply, and if you manage time correctly, you can do everything.
Of course.
Really everything. As I was mentioning before, I study engineering. This is difficult. There are some subjects that are much more difficult. I would say that here, when it comes to difficulty of some exams, they are very high difficult, but they can be managed. If everything is managed in a proper way, then everything is doable.
Super. We have another question that says, why have you decided to go to USA for the exchange program?
Again, different reasons. The first one for sure is the fact that I always wanted to have an international experience. As I was telling you before, I used to work in an international company. But dealing with different people, and again, different people that are living in Italy is not the same as going to another country. And you know this better than me. Because when you're going to another country, you have to force yourself to change the way of doing things, which is not something easy. It's not something that your mind accepts willingly. And so it's something that you have to do. Moreover, USA, this is not the only choice, the only reason why I decided to go to USA. The other reason is the fact that, curriculum, this is making quite a huge impact in the curriculum. And the fact that US, it's something that we know they are quite ahead of time when it comes to certain things. And so I wanted to see actually how I can try to learn something there and to bring it here for me and for the company in which I will work. And so these are the main reasons why.
Super. Great. Let's see if we have more questions to then go back to the end of the session. We don't want to abuse either of your time. It says, how did you accommodate in Trieste?
I would say Trieste, it's quite easy to find an accommodation. Then again, from an Italian person perspective, before coming in Trieste, I used to live in Parma, which is close to Bologna. There it was a nightmare. Bologna, Parma, Milan, it's a nightmare to find an accommodation. It's very difficult because universities are large, the cities are not that large, And so find an accommodation is very, very difficult. Here in Trieste, despite the fact that there is quite a big university, I would say that the situation is much better. For me, it was very easy, even if actually I'm living 4 hours and a half, 5 hours by car. I came here for 2 days and I found an accommodation. It's something that is not possible to be done in Parma, in Milan, in Bologna. It's impossible, really impossible.
So you rented, may I ask if you rented a single, like, did you rent a room in a shared apartment or you rented a whole apartment?
I decided to share an apartment with another guy, which I didn't know. Okay. But again, I also had the opportunity to have a full apartment for me, a bigger apartment, or a room in an apartment with other 4 people. And at the end, I went in an apartment with I shared an apartment with another guy. So 2 bedrooms, kitchen, bathroom, living room, yeah.
So because there are these like different options, right? One can decide to live alone, renting an apartment. Of course, anywhere in the world that would be a higher rent. But there is also the option to rent a single home in a apartment.
And also I have to say this, here in Trieste, my rent was something like 200 euros less compared to Parma. And the situation was more or less the same. So yeah, Trieste is cheaper compared to other big cities in Italy. I mean, not big cities because, we're talking about a city that is 200,000 people, so not that big. But in any case, compared to other medium-sized cities in Italy.
Or compared to other Italian cities that also offer MBA programs, that have business schools there. And
yeah, for sure. When I think about Milan, Bologna, but also Parma, I mentioned Parma because more or less it's the same size of Trieste. It's difficult. Not impossible, for sure, because nothing is impossible, but it's difficult, yeah. Here, it was very easy for me, I have to say the truth.
Nice.
I'm not saying this because you have a... Okay, I swear.
No, it's good to know that it was easy and fast for you to find an accommodation. In any case, also here in the school, we give support to candidates in finding an accommodation, just to mention. Thank you very much, Alberto, for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you and get to know more about your experience here with us. If, with your permission, I would tell our attendees that they are free to contact you on LinkedIn.
I already told them.
Alberto Severini, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Feel free to reach me for any question, doubt. Yeah, I'm here for you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And see you all in the next webinar with an alumno, so with someone who graduated already from the MBA in International Business at MIB Trieste School of Management. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.